everyone, this is Sally with the Polka Dot Life. Today we are going to just play with all different kinds of products. We are going to start off by focusing on the Special Moments stamp set, and that is a Sale-A-Bration item. It has 21 greetings or sentiments for your cards. And we are also going to be pulling in that Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper. I have a little love-hate relationship with that paper. We'll talk about that as we work. But we are going to take that one sheet of paper. You know, Stampin' Up! Often in their paper packs give us a 12 by 12 sheet that has a strip along the top and a strip along the bottom of a design. And I get asked all the time, what do I do with that? How do I use that? So we are going to look at that today. We're going to cut that apart together and talk about different ways that you can use that piece of paper. And then I am going to show you 6 cards that I made with that, and we are going to make one together. And it is going to be fun because we're using that Daffodil Afternoon paper, but we are pulling in the Hat Builder die set and the animal print embossing folder. I might have piqued your interest, and you're probably thinking, what in the world is this lady going to do with all of those random items? Well, come with me and we are soon to find out. If you have a Sale-A-Bration catalog, you want to open it to page 14, and that talks about the Special Moments stamp set. It is free with $100 in purchase of product before shipping and tax. That is one of the selections you can make, and I personally think that it is one of the best in the catalog. I would have probably named it Wonderful Sentiments for Everyday Life, because these really aren't special occasions. These are your everyday greetings that you are going to use with your friends, family, and loved ones. Happy birthday, with sympathy. Thanks for brightening my day. Hang in there. Best wishes. A lot of really, really great sentiments. In fact, there are 21 of them. They are photopolymer stamps, which means you can see through them, the stamp, which we love when it comes to greetings. And there are several examples here of them using these greetings on a card. So that is what I wanted to showcase today, to show you just how versatile it is and what all you can use them for. But we also are going to be using the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper, and it is a Sale-A-Bration item also that's on page 4 and 5, and that is free with a $50 purchase before shipping and tax. So we're going to start there. We are going to talk about one of the pieces of paper in particular, is how we're going to work on that. People have asked me how you make it work. We're going to look at that. So I want to show you the papers that come in this set. I kind of have issue with this set a little bit. First, I got it and I thought, ugh, I cannot use this. To me, it's very dismal and dark on these sides of the paper, with the exception of this one and this one, because they have a light background. I love the flower image, but to me, these 3 look like they belong under the sea somewhere. That's just my personal opinion. That's what I think of when I look at them. I like this because sometimes you do need a dark piece of paper to make something pop, and we will do that today. And we are going to, like I say, we will especially be working with this, but I want to show you. Once I flipped these papers over to the other side and started working with them, then I loved them. And so here we have our second side to the paper. And aren't they beautiful? They coordinate so nicely. When I think of daffodils, I think spring. And this has spring written all over it, and I love it. So we are going to be using some of these B-sides, as they would be called, this one, and this one. Stampin' Up! Will often give us a sheet of paper, of Designer Series paper, that looks like this, with a design on the top and bottom, with a more muted or a more plain middle. There are several different things that we could do with this. You could actually use the whole 12 by 12 on a scrapbook page. You could cut it in half this way and use this as a nice border on the bottom of your scrapbook page, your 12 by 12. You could cut it here and you could cut it in half here so that you have 4 6 by 6 sheets of paper. You could share it with a friend. You could use it in a 6 by 6 album if you have one of those. Or you can do what we are going to do today for card making. And so we are just going to take it and we are just simply going to bring it. It's super easy. If you're using our trimmer, this is the 6-inch mark on our trimmer. You're just going to hold it tight to the top and bring it clear to the bottom and just use your cutting blade and cut it in half. So now we have 2 sections. And like I say, this would make a beautiful border on a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. But we are going to take ours, and we could have done it a little differently. We could have measured it 5 1/4 on each end, and that would have left a little bit of a strip in the middle for us to use. But it's just easier for me to do it this way. And so we are going to take this strip and we are just going to go at the 4-inch mark and cut it. We are going to come over to the 4-inch mark and cut it. Now we have 3 card fronts. Now, they're a little longer than our 5 1/4, so we would have to cut those down if we were going to use that size. You may want to do a border just down the side of your card where you want that extra length. So I tend to not cut mine down until I'm ready to use them. Again, we're bringing in the second strip, 4 inches. We're doing this, moving it on over to the 4-inch mark. And there we go. So just like that, you could have 6 really simple, easy cards, and I want to show you how you can do that. In today's cards, I used very vanilla versus basic white. You could use basic white because the flowers are white, but this is a very vanilla background, and I love to use my very vanilla whenever I have a chance. So these cards are very similar, but they're different. This one, for example, I'll just say you could have taken this and cut it down and just put this right on a card front, put a greeting on it, and be out the door. And that would be just fine. It's still lovely designer series paper. But I like to do a colored layer with mine. It just kind of frames it a little bit. So I used the Pear Pizzazz, and I just stamped a little butterfly in with the coordinating set, the Daffodil Dream. And I took the With Sympathy greeting from the Special Moments, and I just made a tag and stamped on it in the Pear Pizzazz and popped it up with some dimensionals along with a butterfly. And I think that that is a really peaceful card for sympathy. I used Pool Party. If you see this blue, I don't really know exactly what color this is. I just like the Pool Party with it. And I think that the butterfly is great and representative of our new life in heaven with Christ. And so that's why I added that butterfly to the sympathy card. But that is just one option. This one did the same thing. I added a colored layer, different color. I added a butterfly in a different location and a greeting from our Special Moments stamp set. This one, however, I did on a crushed curry card base, and it just gives it a little bit different of a look. It's just kind of whatever you're in the mood for. These would make just such a lovely gift set if you did 6 cards of these, mixed them up maybe a little bit, but they would just be so cute. This one I did opening this way, and I used the big daffodil stamp on the inside. And I did this with a Pool Party layer, and I put Happy Birthday right across there, because if somebody has a spring birthday, that is really terrific. I always believe in being transparent with you. This card was a little bit of an oops. I got some glue in places I shouldn't have, and so I added a ribbon across the top. I don't love it, but I just went ahead and went with it anyway. I may end up playing with it, doing something different later, but I did add this greeting, "Where would I be without a friend like you?" And I have a little butterfly on the inside of that. But you could also just put ribbon on where you want to have ribbon on and just step it up that way very easily, and you could still make some quick and easy cards that way. You could do these as simple or as stepped up as you wanted. So on this card, I simply just flip this piece over, and here is this other side of the paper that makes me so, so happy. What I did was I took the stitched Greenery die, and it's kind of a die, it's kind of an embossing folder, all kind of in the same thing. It's not a folder, it's an actual die, but it embosses this stitched leaf image into the paper. It's just a subtle little texture item. Then I took this layer that was just this piece, and I have a clipboard. And I laid this clipboard, or I took some glue dots on the back of this paper, put it onto that clipboard. I took some of our white craft ink and took the water painter, and I just put some water in with it and mixed it up and watered it down. And then I had my water painter, which I don't have a water painter over here, so I will use this. This will be my pretend water painter. And I took my bone folder and I just did this to where that ink then splattered onto the card. And so you can see these larger white dots. It already had a little bit of that going on. I just did it a little bit more pronounced. I put this layer onto a slightly larger, very vanilla. I put this layer on a slightly larger, very vanilla layer. I think it's an 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I just put some of this pale papaya ribbon around it and our greeting up on some dimensionals, made a bow, and then I stamped our butterfly in the inside, and I used this very vanilla. This is a pale papaya card base. And I just think that this is such a fun and really classy looking card. Okay, let's put some things up here to work with. And I have my bone folder, and I am just going to simply give this a fold and score. We're pushing that excess up so it lays nice and giving it a nice crease across there. This is also going to be a landscape card. I apologize, one of my lights had malfunctioned. It's better to have lights on though. So we have our card base folded in half. I'm just going to move my card base off to the side. And I have this strip of Very Vanilla. And I'm going to bring in our Flirty Flamingo ink to go along with our Flirty Flamingo cardstock. And I am just, my pad is a little bit dry here. I need to re-ink this one. But I am just going to put this in the center. And I apologize, I am just going to have to bring this down so y'all don't see my head. Super, super cute. I love that. We're having a slight variation from the first card I made like this. I am just going to move our greeting over to the side with our card base. And let's kind of look at our next design element. This is the animal print embossing folder. I don't show this a lot of love, and I don't know why. I just thought, oh, this would be really cool. Now, you don't really notice, especially on this side, you definitely don't notice that it's like a leopardy kind of cat print. And you really don't on this one either because of the squares. And it kind of breaks it up, but it really, this just adds a really, really nice touch to our card. Now, because this is embossed, I do want to use liquid glue. I want to Be generous, but not ooze with it. So we are just putting our glue on here. And like I say, if you can hear it, it is good. I forgot to tell you that I went ahead and cut this layer down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And that is what we are going to put this layer on. And we just center it up in here. We need to go just that way a hair. And of course this glue has set for a second, so it is nice and stuck. There we go. Perfect. And you know, if you've ever cut your DSP, it's thin, and sometimes it'll leave a little edge. Just kind of take your fingernail or your bone folder and go across it, and it will flatten out. So we've got our glue on this layer now, and we are going to just adhere it to the very vanilla layer that is just slightly larger, like by 1/8 of an inch from that one we cut. And all the measurements will be over on my blog. And then we are going to take this and bring in our Flirty Flamingo. And I just want to check and see, yes, this is the side I want to be the front. We will put our liquid adhesive on and just lay this right down here and just do the same. So this part is just kind of basic card building 101, just layering things up. And as I said, you just don't even notice that this has that leopard print in it, but it really does help make this kind of pop up off the page. Next, we are going to put our adhesive on this next layer. And I'm using the black because I do want to pop an element. You know, I just want it to jump off of this layer. Let's see, I think I want it to go this way. And you can center it up, and if you have to cheat it one way or another, make it a little higher versus lower. And sometimes it's just how it looks in this, since this is a geometric print, of how you might want it to go. Super cute. Now, I have taken this hat builder die set and I cut out one of our hats. And I've just put this die back on it. It'll go into the stitching. I've made a line here and I've made a line around here. You could totally skip this part if you wanted to, but I think it really does add some nice dimension. We're going to start about in this area and come down, and we're going to come right here. I'm also going to go up in here just to kind of get a little shape of that little button, I guess you'd call it, at the top of a hat. And let's lift this up. Now you will want to be careful as you handle your die, just in case any of the ink from the marker transfers onto that, and you'll want to wipe that off with a Kleenex or something when you're done. I'm going to tell you to freehand this. I know it might freak you out, but you don't have far to go. You stand a much greater risk of leaving a boo-boo, not lining things up, if you try to put the die back there and do this. So right in this area, we are just going to take our little marker here and just make some little lines, just to kind of give a little shadow effect in this area. So isn't that shaping up to look really cute? It just gives it a little extra added dimension. Now, I'm not caring so much if I get this in the lines here now. In fact, I kind of don't want it in the line. I'm going to make that line up against that little button there. And let's kind of just put this in a little bit, just scooch it in a little bit until we see enough of that black line down here. And then let's just go right on up there. See, super easy. And we're going to go to this side and do pretty much the same thing, except we don't have a line over here. I'm just going to take this kind of across to where this little area is right here. And I'm just going to, like I say, kind of just line it up as best I can and go light there to try to just really not leave a big dot there. It has a little one, but no one's going to notice that. And then this, we're just going to freehand. We're just going to take that straight across. So that gives us the brim, the folded part of our brim. I'm going to pick this back up again, and we're kind of going to use it like we did over here on this other side. Okay, so we've just lined, whoops, I've just lined this back up, and we're just simply going to come along like we did before. Now that hung on my die. There's a little nub on my die there, so there you go. Again, little tiny mark, but no one is going to ever notice that by the time we get finished with this card, especially with the putting it on that dark background. Now, I am going to take this portion, and I want to see where that sharp place is on my die. I will have to file that off. And we're just going to go like this. And we are just simply going to lay it up there. Even if you're a little short, might be better. And isn't that cute? Just kind of right there between that stitching. And doesn't that just add some dimension to that? I love that. Like I say, you could skip this if it bothers you. And you know, you could always use on pattern paper, more pattern paper if you wanted to for your hat. I also used these two pieces, and I cut out a Flirty Flamingo, this little piece. Let me move this to the side. And it goes right here in between where that stitching is. You'll see that stitching doesn't continue the whole way. And I am going to just put some glue in the center of my piece. And you just kind of figure out how you want it. Do you want it straight? Do you want it a little bit wonky? I guess it depends how you're going to end up laying it on your card. You might just kind of want to have that figured out. Super, super cute. Now, before we put this down though, we're going to take our happy birthday. My first one, I did something different that I hope you like that idea. And I am just going to kind of figure out where I want to put it. I want just a little bit of this peeking down over. So I think that I'm just going to space it just under this line of these plus signs here. And we're just gluing this down flat. Super, super fun. And these just line up over here. You can, like I say, you can make this be up and down. Depending on what greeting you use, not all the greetings are going to work like this, but a lot of them will out of that stamp set. And if one of those don't fit, just find the one that you need to fit and make it work. So I am going to take just a couple mini dimensionals. I'm going to put one here. I am going to put one here. And I am going to put one here. I'm not going to fold this card in any particular way. You could kind of fold it to where that bill really is indented, but I'm not going to do that. So I am just going to put some glue on these because we just need that little wiggle room till we get everything where we want it to be. I'm going to put some glue where there's not any holes, or at least I'm going to try to avoid the holes, or not put super amounts on so I don't have to worry about it gushing out. I guess no point in me putting glue down there. There's a glue, or there's a dimensional there. Oh, silly Sally. So I am just going to put this part down, and I'm just gonna kind of work this around. Now, I will say my glue dot, or my dimensionals showing, and I don't love that. So, might just snip it in half. Just be careful not to snip your hat, or just take it off. And we can scoot another one in there in the more appropriate place. Just going to take both pieces off of this and have it stuck to my finger. I'm going to move it down to where we are in a thicker piece of the DSP so that it's not showing. So you'll see that this is flat, and this just kind of naturally then looks like it has a curve to it because we have put those couple dimensionals right along here. Now I could have taken my bone folder and folded that a little bit so it was rounded, much like on a real hat. If you were going to round the brim, I could have done that. I just chose to put it on here like this. Now we have our brushed brass butterflies. Say that 3 times fast. And I'm going to take the big one, and I am just going to put it here. Now you could use one of the things from the die set. You could put a gem. You know, you could use one of the different shapes. Let's see here. Kind of want it to flow with that little black line a little bit better. There we go. And isn't that fun? I will show you the other one that I did. And I used big congratulations. What made me go to this was graduations are going to be here before you even know it. And sometimes our graduation cards can be a little bit masculine or cold. So I thought, well, this would be lovely for a young woman that is graduating, especially if she played softball at school. I thought this would be really fun. Big congratulations could be, you made the travel team, you made, you know, whatever, you broke a school record, whatever you need it to be. That could be this card. And then I just thought, okay, everyone needs a birthday card now and again. So this is just a great feminine birthday card. But just by changing up the colors or the papers, then you would have a masculine version. So I did an inside liner, and then I had a strip of that paper left from cutting it off the middle of those, or another sheet of paper, and I just put that in there. And so I will do that or something similar to that on the inside of this card. But how fun is that? And of course, it wouldn't be complete without an envelope. So you just pick one of those coordinating papers, and it could be any of these papers, and just do your flap on your envelope. And I believe I did a butterfly on the front. Yes, I did. I thought that that just tied everything together super, super nice. So there you have it. Just remember that every paper of our designer series paper, most of the time, every weird once in a while, you'll have one that doesn't have a backside, but I just think that they couldn't look any more different, but they're all super happy cards. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.